So I've been watching today's Shopsmith YouTube channel. You noticed I did a video on how to practice the lathe turning. It would seem logical that the next step would be to actually use the techniques to build your first project. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to make a pair of candlestick holders. So this is like part 2 of an earlier video on learning to turn. I'm assuming you've practiced your beads and your coves and rounding, what have you. I'm going to show you how to build a quick project now using those techniques. First thing I got to do though is put an edge on my chisels. I'm using what's called a sharpening guide. It's something Shopsmith came up with a long time ago. Real quick, real simple, easy way to make sure you got enough edge to cut any kind of material. And it handles any of your chisels. Skew chisel there, the gouge, parting tool. It does a really, really nice job. Highly recommend that. If you want to pick one up, of course, you can always get it on discount through me. Just email me at myoung@shopsmith.com. As a final step, you can see me using a real inexpensive diamond stone just to give it a little final touch here. This will work on any of your chisels, but seems to add to what the sharpening guide does. And again, you can use it on any of your chisels. So let's get the lathe set up and get ready to actually turn this project. Now I want you to notice I'm using the same material that I showed you to use when you're practicing. It's a piece of fur. It's exactly 8 inches long, just like we use for practicing. Why not use the same material for your first project? You already got the material. So every project pretty much starts the same way. You round your material out, you smooth it up, you prepare it for decoration. So this is where it gets fun. Now you get to actually be creative. You can design your project using any number of beads or coves. It's up to you. Everything works. So today I'm kind of making this up as I go. If you want to start with a pattern, draw yourself out a pattern and trace it out on your piece. I just said something very key, that anything works. I mean, this is your project. You design it the way you think it looks the best. The main thing is have a little fun and be creative at the same time. So what I've done here, I've started up the top there. Now I've just simply marked out where I want some additional beads and the width of them. You see there's some wide ones, some narrow ones. I'm also going to put a subtle cove in there, you'll see here in just a bit. So with the parting tool, I'm just marking kind of the center of my cove and using pretty much a scraping technique here. Like I say, this can be a real subtle cove, but a long one. You see how creative you can get with your beads? Here's a real wide one I'm working on now. So I've got what I think cut out that looks good. Now I'm just going to sand it up. I do like to use 120 to start with on this particular material, move down to 220. So here's my spindle. This is the basic part of the project. We'll go from here. So this project actually requires 2 matching spindles. Very rarely do you see a single one of these things sitting on a table, so I need to duplicate what I just got through doing. So I've gone ahead and rounded out a second piece. It's spinning in the lathe now. Then with the original piece, the first piece, I'm simply resting it on top of the tool rest and with the pencil marking out the location of all my beads and the one cove there. A lot of different ways to do this. This is a quick, simple way to do it. A lot of people use templates. Of course, I'll keep using the original and going back to that just to check what I'm doing here. And we'll start cutting again. This is also, if you need the exact diameters, Having a set of inside and outside calipers helps a whole lot. But today I'm just eyeballing everything. So I've got my two pieces completed, and for eyeballing, they look pretty close. But they don't have to be exact. I'll explain why that is in a little bit. But for now, this is going to work. So this project uses the bandsaw also. I just need to rough cut some circles out of some scrap 3/4 material, fur of course. That's going to be an important part of the project. So it's back to the lathe now. I'm going to put both of those discs together, and then with the gouge, make sure I turn them exactly the same diameter and put a little profile on the edges. Of course, I need to drill some holes. Start out with some 3/8" holes on the bottom of each spindle. Then I'm going to move to the circles, the bases they're called now, and drill some matching 3/8" holes. That's going to be some dowels that attach this all together. For the candle itself, it's a 7/8 inch Forstner bit. That's standard size for a standard tapered candle. So assembly is pretty basic once you got your holes drilled. Of course, you got a dowel in the bottom of the spindle itself. That's going to go into the base. I simply glued that up, and you got a candlestick holder. And they're nice, without a doubt. It would look good sitting pretty much anywhere, wouldn't it? But I'm going to show you how you can get even more creative. For just a little bit of an investment, you can add some real pizzazz and wow to a project just like this. I ran out to my local Hobby Lobby here, and for a total of $5.89, I picked up some of this, I don't really know what you'd call it. Stuff like this. I'm going to use about half of that. I'm going to cut it with my wire cutters here, and I'm just going to wrap it around. See what you think. Oh, I did pick up some fall colored candlesticks. Since this is September now, I thought I'd stay with the fall theme or autumn theme. That's why I went with these. I'll just start out by snipping some of this off. About the length that I want. That looks pretty good. And I also had these little berry looking things, I guess. I guess you should take the price tag off. $1.99. I'm just going to use a couple of these too. This is all wire. I'm going to cut one of these off. Cut another one off. I'm just going to put these together like so. And just tie it on. Just with some string. String that you use to tie up your chickens or what have you for cooking. I did dip it in my coffee cup just to make it a little bit darker. And I'm just going to tie these together first. Get them held. And we'll put them onto the candlestick. make these equal length. There's your first turned project, done relatively inexpensively. Just to run that down again, we used the same piece of material I suggested in an earlier video to practice on. That's 2x2 fur. You buy that at Lowe's, Home Depot for about $3.80 a stick, 8-foot length. You get roughly 10 pieces out of that, so that's 38 cents for the cost of the candlestick holder. Hey, and $2.50 for the fancy stuff. So you may find that your candlesticks are a little loose into the candlestick. Fairly common. Really, the diameter of these tapers aren't necessarily consistent or exact. So you know the old trick. Break out some tape of some kind. Wrap her around a few wraps. So you saw that it don't take a whole lot to actually come up with a nice looking lathe turned project. So understand the whole idea behind this video is to get beginning turners to understand that yes, you can go out and start building nice projects even though you got very little experience on that particular tool, in this case the lathe. The main thing is you got to get out there and want to do it. Hopefully I've motivated you to do it, and if so, my job's done. So for now, I'm Mike Young, and this is today's Shopsmith. Don't forget to subscribe.